The evening rain fell in steady sheets across downtown Chicago as Marcus Thompson hurried through the darkening streets, his young daughter, Lily's hand clasped firmly in his. At 35, Marcus had learned to navigate the city efficiently, taking shortcuts through alleys and side streets to get his 7-year-old daughter home quickly after her dance class. Lily walked beside him in her bright yellow raincoat, chattering about the recital choreography while Marcus mentally calculated whether they had enough groceries at home for dinner or if he needed to make one more stop despite the downpour as they turned into a narrow alley that would cut their walk home by several minutes. Marcus noticed a figure sitting against the brick wall ahead. His protective instincts immediately went on alert, and he instinctively pulled Lily closer. As they approached, Marcus realized the figure was a woman in a rain-soaked light blue business suit, sitting on the wet pavement with her legs at an awkward angle. Her blonde hair was plastered to her face, and she was holding her phone with trembling hands, clearly in distress. "Daddy, that lady looks hurt," Lily whispered, her child's compassion overriding any fear. Marcus's first thought was to keep walking, to protect his daughter from whatever situation this might be. But as they drew closer, he could see the woman was genuinely injured, not intoxicated or dangerous. "Please," the woman said, her voice shaking as she looked up at them. "Please don't hurt me. I can't walk. My ankle, I think it's broken." Marcus immediately understood her fear. She was alone, injured, and vulnerable in an alley as darkness fell. Two strangers approaching could represent either help or additional danger, and she had no way of knowing which. "Ma'am, we're not going to hurt you," Marcus said gently, crouching down to her level while keeping Lily safely behind him. "My name is Marcus, and this is my daughter, Lily. It looks like you need help." "What happened?" The woman's fear began to ease slightly at his calm tone in the presence of the child. "I was walking to my car, and my heel caught in a grate. I fell, and I heard something snap in my ankle. I can't put any weight on it, and my phone battery is almost dead." Marcus could see the swelling already visible around her ankle. And from his years of youth sports coaching, he recognized the signs of a potentially serious injury. "Okay, let's get you some help." "Lily, sweetheart, can you hold my phone and call 911 like we practiced?" Lily nodded seriously, taking the phone with the careful responsibility that Marcus had taught her for emergencies. As Lily made the call with surprising composure for a 7-year-old, Marcus turned his attention back to the injured woman. "I'm going to take off my jacket and put it under your head so you're not sitting directly on the wet ground. Is that okay?" The woman nodded, and Marcus carefully positioned his jacket to give her some cushioning and warmth. He noticed her expensive watch and designer bag, markers of wealth that contrasted sharply with the vulnerable position she found herself in. "What's your name?" Marcus asked, trying to keep her calm and alert while they waited for emergency services. "Alexandra. Alexandra Sterling." She shivered, whether from cold, pain, or shock. Marcus couldn't tell. "The ambulance is coming, Daddy," Lily reported, then added with characteristic childhood directness, "The lady on the phone said we did the right thing by stopping to help." Alexandra looked at Lily with something like wonder. "You're very brave to help a stranger. Most people would have walked by. Daddy says that's when people need help most." "When they're strangers, nobody knows," Lily replied matter-of-factly. As they waited for the ambulance, Marcus did his best to keep Alexandra comfortable and alert, asking her questions to monitor her condition while trying to shield both her and Lily from the worst of the rain. "Do you have someone we should call?" Marcus asked. "Family or friends who should know you're injured?" Alexandra's laugh was bitter. "I have employees, business associates, and people who want things from me. I don't know if I have anyone who would come just because I needed them." The admission revealed a loneliness that Marcus recognized from his own early days as a single parent, before he had built his community of friends and support. "What do you do?" Marcus asked, partly to keep her talking and partly out of genuine curiosity. "I'm CEO of Sterling Technologies. I was working late, as usual, and was walking to my car in the parking garage when this happened." She gestured at her ankle with frustration. "I've closed million-dollar deals and managed corporate crises, but I can't even walk across a parking garage without falling apart." Marcus heard the vulnerability beneath her self-criticism. Ma'am, having an accident doesn't mean you're falling apart. It means you're human. Everyone needs help sometimes. When the ambulance arrived, the paramedics thanked Marcus and Lily for staying with Alexandra and providing initial assistance. As they prepared to transport her to the hospital, Alexandra grabbed Marcus's hand. "Wait, please. I don't even know your last name, but you stayed with me when you could have just kept walking. Can I please get your contact information? I'd like to thank you properly when I'm not sitting in an alley." Marcus hesitated, uncomfortable with the idea of being rewarded for basic human decency. But something in Alexandra's expression made him relent. He gave her his number, never expecting to hear from her again. 3 days later, Marcus received a call from an unknown number. It was Alexandra calling from her hospital room. "Marcus, I wanted to let you know that my ankle was indeed broken, but it's going to heal fine. More importantly, I wanted to thank you and Lily for stopping. I've been thinking a lot about what happened." "I'm glad you're going to be okay," Marcus said. "Anyone would have done the same thing." "But they didn't," Alexandra replied. "Security footage from the parking garage showed that 7 people walked past me before you stopped. 7 people saw a woman sitting injured in an alley and kept walking because it was inconvenient or potentially complicated to get involved." She paused. "Marcus, sitting in that alley, unable to walk, I realized something. I've spent 15 years building a company and accumulating success, but I've never built the kind of life where anyone would stop for me the way you did. I don't have a community, I don't have real friends, and I certainly don't have the kind of relationship with my daughter that you clearly have with Lily." "You have a daughter?" Marcus asked. "Sophia. She's 8. She lives primarily with her father, my ex-husband, because I work 80-hour weeks and don't have time to be a real parent." Alexandra's voice broke. Sitting there injured and afraid, I kept thinking that if something happened to me, Sophia would hear about it from a lawyer or assistant, not from her mother. That's not the legacy I want to leave. Over the following months, an unlikely friendship developed between Marcus and Alexandra. She had been serious about wanting to change her priorities, and she began by asking Marcus for advice about being a more present parent. Marcus, who struggled financially but was rich in relationships and parenting skills, found himself mentoring a CEO about work-life balance, quality time with children, and building genuine community connections. In return, Alexandra helped Marcus access resources that improved his and Lily's situation, not through charity but through opportunities. A better job with flexible hours that still allowed him to be present for Lily, connections to programs that supported single parents, and eventually, a position managing community outreach for Sterling Technologies' Family Wellness Initiative. More importantly, Alexandra began rebuilding her relationship with Sophia, using Marcus's example to understand that being present mattered more than being perfect or powerful. She reduced her work hours, attended school events, and learned that genuine connection required vulnerability and time, not executive decisions and efficiency. 2 years after that rainy evening in the alley, Marcus and Lily attended a community event hosted by Sterling Technologies. Alexandra stood on stage with Sophia beside her, announcing expanded family support programs for all employees. This initiative was inspired by someone who taught me that the most important measure of success isn't profit margins or market share, but whether we show up for each other when it matters, Alexandra said. 2 years ago, I was literally unable to walk, sitting alone in an alley, and a single father with his young daughter stopped to help when they had nothing to gain by doing so. They reminded me that being human means helping others, even when it's inconvenient. She looked directly at Marcus in the audience. "Thank you for showing me that true strength is measured by compassion, and that real wealth is counted in relationships and community, not bank accounts." The injured CEO who had begged for help had learned that vulnerability wasn't weakness, and that sometimes our lowest moments show us what really matters. And the single father who had simply stopped to help, someone in need, had demonstrated that the most transformative thing we can teach our children is that kindness matters more than convenience. Thank you for listening to this story about showing compassion to those in crisis and how helping others can create unexpected positive changes for everyone involved. If this tale reminded you that we're all vulnerable sometimes and that stopping to help matters, Please like this video, share it with someone who believes in community and compassion, and subscribe for more stories celebrating everyday kindness. We'd love to hear in the comments about times when helping someone in crisis changed your perspective, or when a stranger's kindness helped you in a difficult moment. Remember, the most important thing we can teach the next generation is that we help people because it's right, not because we expect something in return.